At 7:10 a.m. local time, Tomahawk from USS Spruance. After 50 feet above sea level. After only 4 seconds. Then the next one. Then the next one. In just 90 seconds, you will 8 missiles May. And at a distance 300 meters to the northwest. Now, 25 Tomahawk missiles it launches over water. Time to reach the Revolutionary Guard naval bases on the southern Iranian coast. 40 minutes. At this moment, no one in Iran knows she's coming. Perhaps she's already here. And nothing remained 39 minutes. But the Tomahawk, despite its accuracy, is relatively slow. His speed, 550 miles per hour, a full 40 minutes of potential exposure for monitoring. Any flash. Therefore, already within Iranian airspace, there was a wave of Lucas drones it does. Operator Bavar, 373, sees dozens of slow targets appear 110 knots. He cannot distinguish which one 40 lbs directed, which one is merely. So he does what he was trained to do. He shoots. The interceptor missile launches from its launch pad. Its cost $1 million. This is followed by a seemingly unrelated phrase, follows, 3 times the speed of sound, and it explodes in the sky. But what brought it down was not a Tomahawk missile. What just exploded was a Lucas aircraft, platform task 4 Scorpion strike. This is amazing. Spectre works in reverse engineering for aircraft Iranian Shahid 136 that was, costing $35,000. The Iranian operator launches another missile, then another. Here, the war of economic attrition appears in its clearest form. All one less Rakuten real Tomahawk missiles after. Worse still, every air defense battery that fires reveals its precise location to the devices that F-35 aircraft. In other words, the operator. Rather, it places a target mark on his own forehead. Iranian leaders may have thought they had achieved victories by shooting down the drones, but they will discover they were only 25 minutes. Because what? There were 12 Israeli F-15I RAM aircraft 90 minutes. Behind F-35, Ayadir operates almost completely silently. Electronic warfare systems on. As for the RAM aircraft, they carried heavy Rampage missiles under their fuselage. At 8:05 a.m., the formations arrive at. Armament Officer 3 times a crosslink 16 of Iran. It was circling over Jordan. The final solution is confirmed. The pilot presses the button. The weapon, which weighs 2,500 pounds, drops. Then the rocket engine ignites, and it launches at high speed. The sound barrier within seconds, moving in a ballistic arc towards Tehran. Within seconds, the other 11 aircraft also fire their weapons. There are now 12 warheads heading towards the Iranian capital at a much higher speed than. Herein lies the crucial difference. A cruise missile needs approximately 45 minutes to reach Tehran from Iraq. These weapons, however, require only minutes. Minutes don't give the Iranians enough time to monitor, track, request permission, and then launch. They only give them a short time to watch the explosion after it happens. At 8:10, everything arrives at approximately the same time. The first strike hit the Supreme Leader's office on Pasteur Street. Several people were injured. Buildings within the complex are reduced to shattered concrete blocks, and plumes of smoke rise into the morning sky. Minutes later, F-35I aircraft enter Iranian airspace, carrying DAMs and GBU-39 small-diameter bombs. Herein lies the true superiority of the F-35. The pilot doesn't have to navigate between radar screens, infrared, and threats. The aircraft's computer integrates everything into a single image. One image. Its own sensors, Link 16. Data from the rest of the configuration, and satellite images. Every Iranian radar that is still operational sees every friendly aircraft, and the coordinates of the 3 buildings that it will bomb in moments, all on one screen. The F-35 pilot flips his aircraft onto its back at an altitude of 25,000 feet. Then the Ministry of Defense complex launches a GBU-39 bomb. This bomb weighs only 250 pounds, but it is equipped 40 miles with an accuracy of error measured in a few feet. The bomb penetrates the roof and explodes inside the third floor, where military documents and plans are usually kept. Throughout Tehran, the scene is repeated. The Ministry of Intelligence, the Atomic Energy Organization, the Parchin military complex. The targets were not chosen randomly. These are not just government buildings. They're the nerve centers that connect the Iranian military leadership to its field units. But every minute the F-35 spends over Iran means less fuel and more risk. Meanwhile, Tomahawk missiles have finally reached the southern coast. At 8:12, the first warhead strikes a Revolutionary Guard naval base in Asalia. The command building collapses and fuel tanks behind it catch fire. 4 minutes later, an American F-15E Strike Eagle swoops down. The objective, a shelter to protect PACAP fast boats, which are boats specifically built to carry out swarm attacks in the Strait of Hormuz against U.S. tankers and ships. The armament officer locks onto the target. The GPS lock is confirmed. Then the 2,000-pound GBU-31 is fired. After 30 seconds of free fall, the bomb penetrates the arc. The immense pressure finds no outlet, so the walls burst outwards, and the roof collapses over the boats like an iron fist. The message is clear. No one will close the Strait of Hormuz today. Hundreds of meters to the east, the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln was cutting through the sea at 30 knots. On its deck, F-divided by a -18E Super Hornet fighter jets from VFA 41 Black Aces Squadron were taking off, heading toward Chabahar, Iran's only port on the Persian Gulf, Gulf of Oman. There, Tomahawk missiles had struck the command center and fuel depots 20 minutes earlier. But the submarine docks remained standing, and any Goddard succeeds in going out to sea and may be able to plant mines in the strait amidst commercial shipping traffic. That cannot be allowed. The first Hornet swoops down on the submarine dock with a GBU-31 JDM bomb. 30 seconds later, another aircraft drops a similar bomb on the adjacent dry dock. The idea is simple. If a submarine cannot be refueled, maintained, or reloaded, it's just an expensive piece of iron. A third pair of aircraft targets a C-802 anti-ship battery on a coastal high ground. After 2 GBU-39 bombs, the battery is completely destroyed. Along the coast, coordinated strikes between Tomahawks and fighter jets hit targets in Asalia, Chabahar, and Bandar Abbas, home to Iran's Kilo-class submarines and the Naval Command headquarters of the Revolutionary Guard. But the battle is not over yet. 3 hours after the start of the operation, the weapon that Iran had been relying on finally reveals itself. After Israel destroyed most of Iran's Russian-made S-300 batteries in October 2014, Iranian engineers attempted to build a domestically produced alternative. This system would later be designated by Israel as the SA 65.150 kilometers, was the best that Iran was able to develop under sanctions. The battery was deployed in the Kermanshah Mountains to guard the western corridor used by an EA-18G Growler from Lincoln Wing detects the first real emission. The radar had been operating in short pulses for hours, attempting to track without being exposed. But with the arrival of a new wave of missiles Rampage, the battery commander makes the most dangerous decision. He switches to full radar guidance. The moment he does that, the battery dies. The ALQ-249 jamming systems on the Growler flood its frequency with complete electronic noise. Meanwhile, in F-35, I had precisely pinpointed its coordinates after passively tracking it for 90 minutes. Then, from a Super Hornet flying 40 miles to the west, a missile is launched AGM-88 with a speed approaching Mach 3. Even if the radar is turned off, it will not survive. The missile knows its location in advance. From the moment of broadcast to the moment of injury, less than 90 seconds. Iran spent 2 years building this alternative. The United States and Israel destroyed it before the first missile was actually launched. One U.S. official would later say, We have effectively suppressed their air defenses. This development changes everything for the rest of the day. The aircraft that had been waiting over Iraq for hours finally received the green light to invade. 12 F-22 Raptor fighter jets entered Iranian airspace. These aircraft, coming from Joint Base Langley Eustis, has been circling over western Iraq since 3 hours, watching the air defense map turn from red to amber, and now it's time to advance. The Raptor isn't just here to engage, it's here to listen. It's in /ALR-94 system, one of the most advanced electronic warfare systems on any fighter, uses more than 30 antennas distributed across the wings and fuselage. While flying over central Iran, the aircraft identify. SAM portable batteries have repositioned and are believed to be hiding. Revolutionary Guard command centers broadcast on frequencies they deem secure. New communications contracts emerged amid the chaos. Every signal is recorded, its coordinates are marked, and it is passed via Link 16 to the strike aircraft behind it. Meanwhile, virtually no Iranian Air Force is taking off effectively. Some MiG-29s and remnants of F-14s, F-14 Tomcats, and a number of older Phantoms, almost all remain grounded. And that was probably the smartest decision. But on the ground in western Iran, another battle was coming to a head. 30 F-15I RAM aircraft, loaded with spice bombs and Delilah missiles, are deployed across Kermanshah, Lorestan, and Khuzestan, searching for ballistic missile launch sites. The calculation here is harsh. An Iranian crew can extract a Shahab-3 missile from a mountain tunnel, set it up, fuel it, and launch it in less than 30 minutes before returning the truck inside. Therefore, Israel had spent months building a target bank based on signals intelligence, satellite images, and perhaps human sources within the Revolutionary Guard itself. One of the film's scenes captures a crucial moment. An Iranian platform in a narrow valley, the missile already upright on the launcher, and the crew finishing the fuel connections. The Israeli weapons officer doesn't fire immediately. He waits, because he wants the launcher, the missile, the fuel hoses, and the crew all in one place. 10 seconds. 15 seconds. Then he fires a Raphael spice bomb. The bomb slides across the valley, guided by system. The warhead explodes. The fuel tank ruptures. 3 tons of liquid fuel ignite in a fireball. And when the picture returns, nothing remains but scorched earth and wreckage. But they cannot stop everything. Iran has hundreds of platforms distributed across the country. Some of them are in tunnels, some are deception, and some actually succeed in launching before the strike arrives. For this reason, the campaign is expanding to its maximum capacity. A new wave of 30 additional Israeli fighter jets struck targets in Isfahan, Bushehr, and Awaz, and its surroundings. 60 precision munitions rained down on ballistic missile depots, air defense production lines, drone regiment headquarters, Shahid 136 warehouses. These are the drones that Iran was planning to launch by the hundreds against Israeli cities and American bases on the same day. But now, warehouse after warehouse, hangars and storage facilities are being destroyed. The toll, according to the script, 950 destroyed drones. At the same time, the United States is striking deep inside Iran's command and control centers. Underground shelters, communications hubs, fiber optic link stations. The logic is clear. If communications are cut off first, leaders will not be able to coordinate even if they wanted to. Hours later, Iranian internet drops to only 4% of its normal level. Nevertheless, a hacked Iranian prayer app manages to push a simple message to millions. Help has arrived.